Welcome to the Outlander Unhinged podcast, where we talk deep dives, wild theories, and the heart of Outlander. I'm Doreen.
I'm Liz.
I'm Jenny.
And I'm Katie. Grab your snacks, Sassenachs. It's time to talk about Outlander. Welcome back, everyone, to episode 13. Oh my gosh, episode 13. That's 13. Crazy. So we're trying to drop weekly episodes now, so we hope you enjoy this one and don't get sick of us. Jenny, do you want to introduce today's topic?
Today's topic is Season 8 predictions.
Yay!
Ooh, I'm excited. Okay, so the format of this episode is going to be a little different. Katie and Liz are going to tell us their Season 8 predictions based on the show only. And then they will hop off and Jenny and I will give our predictions based on book 9. So we'll see how that goes. We're hoping it's successful. Liz, why don't you start? I think you guys said you want to go. Actually, I had mentioned I want to ask you guys a couple questions and then get your predictions. And this is solely based on news of new castings that were done for Season 8, new characters that are going to be introduced. And I know that you guys have no idea who these characters are, so I think it will be hilarious to hear who you think they are and what their role will be. So the first one is a young woman who goes by the name of Amaranthus Gray. And I'm interested to see who you think she could be and what role she would play.
Well, obviously related to Lord John Bay.
Okay.
I would assume.
I would think have some relation to him. And it's so weird because I hear the name Amaranthus and I automatically think of someone from ACOTAR who was like a very unkind
the villain
person.
Amaranthus in the mountain.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Under the mountain. Right. And Amaranthus Gray. I mean, obviously I agree with Katie. First guess, someone having to do with Lord John, Hal, just that family. Absolutely no clue what her role is going to be, though.
I almost wonder, because I'm saying this because of the casting announcement we see. She's kind of like a younger lady, right? I wonder if like what brings her there is like she's going to get married to somebody. I don't know. Like if there's a betrothal that's brought her there, and I don't know.
Well, okay. All right. The second character is a gentleman, an older gentleman who goes by the name Captain Cunningham. Oh, I love him so much.
Ooh. What can you say what side he's on, or is that like, would that give too much away?
Captain Cunningham.
I don't, at this point in the story, I guess we could say he's not on a side. Right, Jenny?
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I think that's fair.
I don't know. A new friend for Jamie? I don't know. Jamie's always out there making friends, so I don't
just
know.
pull something wild. So you,
I'm just pulling a Jenny, pulling things out of my ass. I don't know.
Don't make me do a spit take.
No.
Liz is like going through the Revolutionary War history that she knows from the back of her mind. She's like, let me think of every person.
My first thought is, I wonder if this is going to be someone related to Benedict Arnold at all, with Benedict Arnold switching sides. Maybe someone who's working in secret with him, maybe another person who's serving as a spy, someone who also is considering making overtures to the British, or someone who is linked that way. That's my guess. I was just thinking about it.
Okay,
outside of that, guess. I mean, he sounds like someone who's going to be in the army. We don't necessarily know which side, but that's going to be my guess.
Okay.
I love that her answer is so sophisticated and mine's just like a new friend for Jamie. I don't know.
It's not that sophisticated.
Maybe you're both right.
Maybe he is a new friend for Jamie too. Never know. Never know. Never know.
I love it.
All right, you guys go ahead with your predictions however you want to do it. We can't wait to hear. I'm going to have to just try to keep a straight face here.
Doreen might go off camera for a while.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Doreen took her headphones off again.
Oh gosh. So I guess I'll just preface with, before we hopped on to record, Katie and I had a conversation and we went through some of the characters and some of the storylines that we felt were left very open-ended at the end of season 7. And we are just kind of going to rapid fire what we either hope to see from them, what we predict might happen. And we're just going to take turns with leading those conversations. That way it's open, it flows nicely back and forth. And we're probably going to have a lot of the same things to say because we, in essence, are the same person when it comes to Outlander. It's really creepy sometimes. Share a lot of the same thoughts and a lot of the same feelings about characters. So I guess we're just gonna jump right in. So the first person on our list is Big Daddy Buck Mackenzie, and both of us really are hoping that we get an answer for what's going to happen to him, because we have been told in the books that there is no finite explanation as to what happens to him. And we know in the show he had offered to travel again to the future to bring a message to Brianna, and that ended up not needing to be done because who showed up in 1739? Brianna, Jemmy, and Mandy. So the question now becomes, well, what's going to happen to Buck? Where is he going to go? So I think for Buck, I would love to see him make it to the Ridge. I would love to see him stay where he is and start a new life for himself. However, he's getting very close in 1739 to the year of his birth. So I don't know how that's going to work, because we know duality can't exist. You can't exist in the same place on your lifeline, your timeline, in two different places. So I hope we get some kind of answer, whether it's he travels forward, he travels back, he stays, makes another decision. I don't know. What do you think, Katie? Do you have any?
Can I just add in quick?
Sure.
You said I hope he makes it, and I thought you said I hope to see him naked.
I mean,
that too.
Where are we going? 3 minutes into the podcast.
I mean, I wouldn't say no to that.
We don't call him Big Daddy Buck for no reason.
He's a big daddy for a reason.
Similar to Roger
Every time
Mac.
that I have
Daddy.
to post an episode, every single time they say, "Is this made for kids?" and I have to think about what we said, and I'm like, "No, this is not made for kids."
I mean, Outlander in general is just not made for kids, so we can't do anything worse.
No, definitely not.
But for Buck, like Liz said, we're going to have a lot of the same. We're very sometimes eerily the same and have the same brain. But yeah, I agree with everything she said. I also hope that he makes it back to Morag. And I'm wondering how that will play out, because I know when he traveled, he said I'm pretty sure he said we heard the stones and I went to investigate. So we heard the stones would mean that they can travel too. So I almost wonder if they are back in time looking for him and they just haven't found each other yet. But yeah, like Liz said, I would love to see him on the Ridge. I would love, him and his family to join them on the Ridge and make a home there.
Yeah. So hopefully the show will close out his character nicely and give some justice for Buck, because we also know he's been having some issues with his heart also. That's been very present as he's gotten closer to the stone. So
When I tell you I could not focus on Roger reuniting with his dad and like when he was sending Jerry through the stones, I couldn't focus because I was like scared shitless that Buck was back there having a heart attack because he was just grabbing his chest and I was like, okay, this is nice, but what's happening to Buck? Is Buck gonna die? Is that the price that Jerry had for Jerry to live? Like, so
It's interesting. That plays out really different in the books too, that whole scene. And I think it gives you a different perspective on what may be happening to Buck.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful, like you guys said, that they address it in the show, but I just don't think they will.
Yeah.
I just can't.
Got to keep reading the books. We got to keep going and reading
Hopefully
You guys
the books.
are getting there. You're getting there. You're cruising.
Yeah,
You're
we're
cruising.
gonna make
Yeah,
it.
we
We're
are.
gonna make it there.
And it's going to be exciting. It's going to be like 2-hour conversations like, what? How did you keep this from me?
Right. Oh my goodness. I agree.
It is.
I agree. So our next characters that we listed were none other than Jamie and Claire. So Katie, do you want to start this one?
Yeah, I can. Obviously, we know several things from the trailer, right? So Jamie's going to be in another battle / war, whatever, and according to Frank's book, he's going to die. I have to tell a short story, because it will prove how eerily similar we are. So after any trailer drops, I mean, we talk on the phone every day anyway. If you don't know, Liz is my best friend and we share a brain. But the trailer had dropped and we were on the phone, and obviously, James Fraser dies, and we were like talking about that. And we both are very into and curious about Attaway's prophecy about Claire coming into her full power when her hair is white, because they don't say things in Outlander for no reason, right? So that has a purpose, and that's going to mean something later. So we both were on the same wavelength there, right? Something's going to happen to Jamie, and Claire's going to have to heal him using, it's, going to take all of her power to do it. And so we were saying this on the phone, and I thought, I honest to God, it gave me goosebumps when this happened. I thought to myself, I don't know why, but since I started reading the book, I really see how much more like bigger of a character that Roger is, I feel like, than the show portrays him to be. I feel like he's a very big and a very key player in the story. And so I thought to myself in my head, I was like, I just feel like Roger's going to be involved somehow, like maybe grounding Claire, or, maybe using his powers too. And I'm not shitting you. Right after that thought occurred in my head, she said, and I think Roger's going to help her. And I was like, shut up. I was like, I didn't say that because I thought it was stupid. Like, why would Roger be there?
It was the best. It was the best
so
moment
weird.
because Katie said to me, I wasn't going to say that because I thought you were going to think I was stupid. Because I think that's the same thing. It's true.
So,
it's true.
So yeah, we think that, obviously Claire is going to try to bring back Jamie, and I mean, obviously she will. Jamie's not going to die. But maybe Roger is somehow involved, and I don't know. Something big is going to happen, that's for sure. Because,
yes,
Frank apparently foretold a lot. So, but who knows if that's true? Because I can also see Frank being an asshole, especially Book Frank.
Book Frank can
I still
right
think
off.
he's going to save everyone in the end. I know. So just to piggyback off of,
I love you. Can I say one thing?
yes,
I know. I think Frank can and likely will play a huge role in the end, but he'll still be an asshole.
Two things can be true at once.
Two things can be true.
Yeah.
Him sharing information or him playing a bigger role doesn't change the fact that I'm always going to think he's an asshole. That's all I want to say. Love you. Go ahead. This is your time.
Touche. Yeah. So to piggyback off of Katie, who's also my best friend, we have talked a lot about this idea of Jamie and Claire being soul bonded, becoming like one person, and I feel like it's very hard to put into words what I mean, but the best example that I can give is if we imagine something really terrible happening to Jamie and Claire has no choice but to heal him in a way where she has to give him like a part of herself, whether that be her soul or some of her power or whatever it might be. And when I imagine it, I imagine like Claire having this like Avengers moment, like from Storm, where like her hair is white and there's lightning and there's all kinds of craziness, but like she's holding Brianna's hand, she's holding Roger's hand, and like everything is feeding into him. And in essence, she's sharing a part of herself which allows him to be healed, and as a result, they become one soul. We already see them as one soul, but they literally will become one soul. And I think I'm very much hoping that we will get this big, huge event, because how can you put in a teaser trailer? I'm reading Frank's book and it says there's going to be another battle and James Fraser dies in it. How do you put that in and then not follow it up? I think it definitely has something to do with Claire's prophecy.
Yeah.
So
I just had a thought, but I want to add to what you're saying because I will forget if I don't say it now. I totally agree. I think they are already soul bonded, but I think like Liz said, they're going to be like one soul. Like she gives half of herself to bring him back. But I don't know how the show's going to pull that off, honestly, because they haven't really done any magic up until this point, just time traveling. And Master Raymond. But also I had a thought while she was saying that. So if Jamie died, I mean, technically you can die and people get brought back from the dead all the time, right?
Sure.
And they claim they have, experiences or, what they see. What if Jamie dies? And this is when his ghost goes to Claire and he's reliving their whole life in his head. I just thought that when she was saying that, new Jamie ghost theory just occurred to me on this podcast. But that would be wild. Like if he dies then and he goes to her where it all started and he has like this montage of their life playing in his head. I don't know. That would be so cute, though.
Oh, that would be heartbreakingly cute.
This is scary, but it would be cute.
It would. It would.
This is killing me.
Oh, no. All right. Well, we don't want to kill you, so let's keep going.
On to the next.
All right. So the next is Lord John Bay, All Day.
All Day.
So I think it's probably safe to say we hope he's going to get a happy ending, that he's going to find someone. Jenny, I didn't mean that kind of happy ending. My God.
If you are just listening and you're not watching the video, Jenny just choked on her coffee.
My gosh. I made a happy ending to his story.
Way too much coffee today.
It's never safe to take a drink during one of these
my
episodes.
pants. I can't take it. I'm literally gonna pee my pants.
I hope that his story ends with happiness and love. Is that better, Jenny?
Better.
Okay.
That's
okay.
better.
Okay.
Oh.
That he will
I
be
can't
able
breathe.
to
I gotta mute myself. Hold on, I gotta mute myself.
It just hit me wrong. Or it hit me right. I don't know.
I mean, you were choking, so
So, yeah, well, whose happy ending is that? I don't know.
Right. Who are you making happy over there?
My cheeks hurt.
Okay. So, hoping that his story ends happily
Gotcha.
and with love and kindness, that he will find someone who can love him for who he is, and that he can love, given that he will always love Jamie, but that he is deserving of love and someone to give him that affection and that attention. And we know that some pictures were released, and I will let Katie talk about that because I know that was a big a big thought for her because we know she loves Lord John Bay all day. But we did see some pictures of him that looked like he had gone through the ringer. So,
Yeah.
Katie, do you want to expand on that?
Yeah. I mean, first off, I want him to have many happy endings too. Good for you, Lord John Bay.
Come on, I just caught my breath.
I'm sorry. I'll drop it. Okay. No, I really do. I hope he ends up with somebody that loves, appreciates, and respects him, loves him for who he is. I really want that for him. I also secretly, I don't think Denny is gay, but I ship him and Denny so hard. I don't know why. I think it's when he was taking care of Lord John, with his eye. I was like, that's it. They would be so perfect together. They're so
I
cute.
really need you to get to that part of the book.
We love Hot Dog Denny.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Anyway.
here's the
Hot Dog Denny.
thing. Here's
We
the
do.
thing,
We
though.
do.
This is important to note. The show, and I kind of agree with Katie, and this isn't a book spoiler. I feel like they were leaning into there being a connection. And they could go off book. They could go off and they could do anything. So really, we don't know. And I do feel they were building up to a connection there between those two. So
Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree.
They're making their own ending, so who knows?
Right.
Yeah.
They're going to be
They
different
are.
from the books anyway. So
Yeah.
but yeah, so we saw those pictures, and like Liz said, he looks like he's just been through the ringer. So obviously something bad happens to him, right? He fully had like a beard, like the whole thing. He, he had been through it. So I honestly, I don't know what's going to happen. I feel like maybe someone is going to turn him in for being gay, because that was punishable by death back then. And so I feel like Percy Wainwright has a lot to do, and I'm really excited because I'm reading the Lord John novellas now. I'm excited to meet him in the novellas and really get to see what his character is like. But I just feel like in the show we got to see that he and Lord John seem to have some bad blood. So I don't know if he turns him in, I don't know. I just know something bad happens, and I think Jamie and Claire are going to save him. And I think maybe that's when Jamie and Lord John reconcile. And, I don't know. I think that Jamie is mad at Lord John, but he doesn't want anything bad to happen to him. That's at the end of the day, like, that's still his best friend. So
Yeah.
I hope that Jamie and Claire would go after him and save him, and they'll patch things up, because that's one of the big things I want to see. I want to see them patch things up, because it's tearing my guts out, Jamie. Like, it's just
It is.
no, it is.
Hard
It's
to
so
see him that
hard.
way.
I mean, when they broke up, like, when Jamie said, we can't, it's best we don't communicate, don't see each other, that broke my heart. Like, I
gut-wrenching.
cry. I can't. It's so sad. Like, the look on John's face, like, also like
Damn this
David.
war.
Yeah. Also like David Barry. I cannot get over how good of an actor he is.
Incredible.
He portrays Lord John in such a brilliant way. Like, I don't know. He's just, no one else could have played Lord John.
No, and he's got great chemistry with Sam as
He does.
as-
And even Katrina.
Yeah.
With the wedding and all that. Like,
Yep.
yeah. So
Yeah.
yes, something bad coming. Hopefully Jamie rescues him and Claire, and they reconcile, and he gets his happy endings.
Multiple of them, Jenny. So I guess we'll kind of shift into William from here, since we're already kind of talking about Lord John and Jamie. We have William, and we already know he spiraled. He just, he lost control. He lost sense of self. And I know we've talked about this many a time, Katie, that we want William's relationship with Lord John to be reconciled. We want William's relationship with Jamie to be reconciled, so that he can have a relationship with both of his fathers. And I would really love to see William experience life by himself, on his own, with this newfound identity of who he is, to kind of go off and not necessarily soldier, because he's not allowed to actively participate in the war at this point, but to just maybe find himself and start a life for himself, but eventually make it back to the Ridge or wherever Lord John might be, so that he can have a relationship. And I'd also love for William to, I guess, try to gain a better sense of who his mother is as well, because I know that we had that scene in season 7 part 2 where Jamie was sharing only positive things about Geneva. And I hope that William can come to understand her a little bit in that light, but also learn some of her faults, because I think that will help to give him a better sense of himself and who he is, that his mother wasn't perfect. Both of his fathers weren't perfect. He doesn't have to be perfect. He can be flawed, and people can still love him and care about him. So that I would love to see that for William.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's definitely going to have some identity crisis and, anger that we're going to see play out in season 8, and just kind of coming to terms with what all this means, that he's been lied to his whole entire life. And
yeah.
I hope that, I don't know why I feel this way, but I feel like Claire would be an excellent person just to talk him through things, because she's kind of on the outside of it too. And I know in the books, I think they were a lot closer than what it shows in the show. Like, I know he calls her Mother Claire, which I'm sad that I think they only did that one time in the show, didn't they? Or did they not do it at all? I can't remember.
I think there was a scene, but they cut it.
Yeah. I don't think
yes, maybe that's it. Yeah. But yeah, so I hope that someone helps him through it, because I feel like, somebody always has to pull you out of the darkness. Like, yes, you can do it yourself, but I feel like he needs to know how loved he is. He needs to know that no ill intent was meant by lying to him. It was to protect him. And I hope he can see that. I hope he learns to respect Jamie and, like Liz said, his mother, even though, she wasn't always making the right decisions. But yeah, I hope he learns his sense of self and figures out who he is. And I would love for him to, I don't think he'll live on the Ridge. I don't know. Maybe he does. I don't know. But he's the 9th Earl of Ellesmere, so I don't know what that's going to mean. Like, is he going to give up that title? Is he going to just, I don't know. That's, I'm curious about that. But yeah, I just want to see, happiness and him reconcile with Jamie and Lord John, and everybody be hunky-dory, one big happy family.
I also wonder if the show is going to touch on the Fraser prophecy at all, maybe as a continuation of a conversation from B.O.B. And I wonder if it will be William, or if William will get married and have a child, and that child could be the link to the Fraser prophecy. I have no idea what the show is going to do, but that would be really interesting.
Yeah.
So next is Fergus and Marceline. I think this is going to be really short, because honestly, I don't know much about them at all. I just know that they're coming back in season 8. I know they've been in Newburn. Fergus has had the print shop in Newburn. Their children are with them. So I hope that when they come back to the Ridge, that they are just able to get settled again and, I guess, fall back into whatever routine they had. I would love for Marceline to become another, get back to her routine of being an apprentice for Claire, and learning medicine and doing all of those things. And that Fergus has healed himself from the emotional turmoil that he was in the last time we saw him, and that he can find his purpose and see himself as a whole man, and that we can really see all of them just together as a happy family, rejoining their rightful place on the Ridge. I would love to see that for them, and I'm very excited for them to come back.
I know. I'm really excited to see them again. I hate that they were left out of last season, but yeah, I can't speak too much because I do know, unfortunately, I got some spoilers on a big plot line that happens with them. So I just think coming back home to the Ridge will be good for them, and it's going to be what they need. So I'm just excited to see that with everybody back together.
Yeah, that'll be exciting. It'll be nice. It'll be nice to see them all back together. And then we have Roger, Brianna, and the kids. So Katie and I were talking about this before we jumped on to record, and we really do feel like the teaser trailer kind of spoiled the fact that they're probably going to make it back to wherever Jamie and Claire are, because how does Jamie have Frank's book that was last seen in the possession of Brianna at Lallybroch in the future? So I feel like that's kind of an easy one. And we've said that for a long time, that we would love for them to reunite and be back on the Ridge together. And I don't necessarily know what that will look like yet, because they haven't been in the past for quite some time with Jamie and Claire. Do you want to talk a little bit about your thoughts, Katie?
I don't know. I mean, based on the trailer, I'm kind of confused. I think maybe they'll have some issues getting back to Jamie and Claire. I don't know. I mean, they're everybody's in the middle of a war, so it's just kind of scary times all around. And so I don't know, it seems like Roger and Brianna are going to get separated for a little bit, because when, she sees him at the camp, she like runs to him. It did appear to me that he was holding a book, which I'm assuming is like a Bible. So maybe he's going to get back to ministering. Maybe he's ministering soldiers. But I don't know. I feel like they're not going to be reunited with Jamie and Claire as early as we want. But obviously we do know that they may get back to them, but also they have to leave time for Jamie to learn about Frank's book and read it and die. So die and come back. So, yeah, I think that everything you said, but it'll be nice to see them go back, and that'll mean so much to Claire. And also in the trailer we see Claire, well, we don't see her, but we see her eyes go wide, and then she says, "Is it possible?" I think that's the moment she sees Bree and Roger and the kids. And obviously the Mrs. Fraser is a completely different scene, which Diana has already said. But yeah, I think that part of the trailer is what that is, where she sees them and she says, "Is it possible?" So yeah, but it'll be nice to see them back together.
So for all of us, I guess this is a no spoiler thing because it's not in the book, but I think I'm interested to hear how everyone thinks they're going to handle the Faith storyline. So Liz, how do you think that's going to play out?
So I do not think that Jamie and Claire's Faith is alive. We saw her in season 2 buried in France. We watched Claire and Jamie grieve her passing, and I for that reason, right, I can't rationalize any other way that she could be alive without Outlander going into the direction of extreme sci-fi, because that's what would happen.
Yeah.
I think that maybe this is more coincidental with the name. Maybe there really was someone named Faith who was their mother. I know Jenny and I have talked before about maybe it was a saint, that maybe it was the name of a saint that was written on the locket. It could be that, but I don't. And I'm wondering what they're actually going to do to bring the story to an end, because I don't want it dragged out in season 8. I just want there to be, just rip the Band-Aid off and give the answer and move on with the storyline, because whatever was supposed to be happening in B.O.B. didn't really come to much fruition anyway. So how they're gonna how they're going to make that make sense. I don't know if it'll be interesting to see it, whatever they do, but I do not think that Faith is alive. And I wonder what they're going to do with Fanny. I wonder what they're going to do with her and if they're going to link Fanny to Claire in any way based on the show.
Yeah, I want to see it, like you said, resolved very quickly. I will say that my theory is totally based in what Diana posted after that episode, where she said that in the book, Claire has this fleeting thought that it could be their Faith, and then Jamie pulls her back down and is like, no, like, she died. It's not our Faith. Excuse me. So I wonder, Claire has had, they met Fanny, all this with Jane, who just died. She's seeing the locket that says Faith. So she's obviously thinking about her Faith, right? You would. And I feel like maybe all this is playing out in her mind. And she's also just been shot, right? She's still recovering from that. So I'm wondering if it's just something that she's like hallucinating. Like maybe she walked into the church to find Fanny, and she just imagines her, or kind of hallucinates her standing there or sitting there singing. But I agree. I don't think Faith is alive. I think it's going to be one of those things that hopefully it's like a dream, or, like I said, a hallucination, something like that, because it would just be cruel, right? It would just be very cruel to make them go through that again. I know Doreen has said this before. It would villainize Master Raymond. It would villainize Mother Hildegard. And we don't want that, right? Like, I don't want to think that even if it's for the greater good, quote unquote, I don't like to think that Master Raymond would be that way. And especially Mother Hildegard too. So
They wouldn't.
I don't know. Yeah, I hope it's resolved quickly. I hope that's where we pick up, is where they left off, and Jamie kind of snaps her back into reality, and maybe she was just like seeing all this, but it's not really happening. And Jamie's like, Claire, are you okay? Claire, because she's just like dazed out. So I don't know. Hopefully that's how it will go, and it'll just be kind of how it played out in the book, but a little bit more dramatized and
Yeah, I agree with all of that. And I mean, I've been vocal about it for a long time, and I just think that they wanted the shock value, and they wanted people to have interest in Blood of My Blood and see if they were going to get answers there, and make everybody obsess over the connection of Fanny and Jane. But I just think it was for shock value, and it's going to be resolved fairly quickly, and Claire's just losing it a little bit.
It's a good marketing scheme.
Sure,
I had
really
more
is.
faith, not to use the pun, but I had more faith in the beginning of the storyline for season 8 prior to watching Blood of My Blood. Now that we've seen what's come of Blood of My Blood, I have, like, it doesn't even matter, because I just think that the writing wasn't as good as it should have been. And to know that the connection of the song is literally just her singing it, that's not a connection.
I lost faith right at the beginning of season 7. I saw what was happening. I saw it because the direction they chose to go and the stuff they left out, I realized, and that is why I struggle so much, because they're really never going to be able to address the magical elements that they should in 8. And if they do, it's going to be so ridiculously out of left field that it won't have the impact it's meant to. So anyways, who else you guys got?
Okay. So we have young Ian and Rachel, and we are, we've talked before that we're excited for their story to continue. Katie and I chatted, and I know we're both so excited for Rachel to be expecting, and young Ian will have another chance at parenthood, and that will be so incredibly special for him, given all of the emotions that surrounded his life with Emily and the children that were lost, right, with between the two of them, and the fact that he will be a father. And I know we are hopeful. I don't know if we will get it. We actually don't even know if it happens in the books or not, for maybe young Ian to have a chance to see Swiftest of Lizards again and share a moment together as father and son. Because when young Ian visited Emily, she asked him to give their child a name for when he walks in young Ian's world. And I don't, like Katie said before, things aren't put in Outlander for no reason. So it would be so wonderful to see them have a chance to meet and share some time together as father and son. I think that would be so incredibly wonderful. And I'm also interested to see Rachel's character develop, because I wonder how Quakery she's still going to continue to be. I wonder if she will kind of continue to modernize herself, what values she will maintain. I'm very, very interested to see that. And also her relationship with her brother. I'm intrigued in that. Katie, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. I'm also curious to see how she adjusts to like Ridge life. Just, I mean, living in this huge open space when she's been living in like, war camps and like, people just needing help and sewed back together and all this stuff. But I hope they have a little peace. I hope that she has a healthy pregnancy. I hope they have a baby. I think they're trying to scare us in that scene in the trailer where they're looking very sad.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, the more I think about it, I think that's when something happens to Jamie. And I think that's his response to something happening to Jamie. He's just very sad because Jamie's like his dad, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So I think that might be that moment is when something happens. But yeah, I hope they are just happy, they deserve to be happy. I mean, Rachel too, but Ian especially, he's been through so freaking much. It's like, just let him have somebody. He wants to be a dad so bad. Just let him have his little family.
Mm-hmm. I know. I agree. And our last character is Master Raymond, and there's really not much to say about him. Katie, do you wanna take this one?
Yeah, I can. I mean, I don't know, because he doesn't come back in the books from what I'm told. So I don't know where they're gonna go. I think we've said on this podcast before, it might have been Doreen, like maybe it has something to do with Mandy, because I've always thought for some reason that Mandy is important. And I say that because in season 7, when she's communicating with Jem, it seems like she can communicate a lot more than he can, or her powers are greater than his. So that's just what makes me think that there's something about her that's really, really important. So yeah, like you guys said, or I'm sorry, I can't remember who said it, but maybe he's coming back to tell Mandy to, that she needs to continue it on. I just don't know what else. I don't know what else he would come back for, because he said that it doesn't have to do with Claire.
I hope we will find out what he needed to ask forgiveness for when he came back to visit Claire in season 7, part 2. What did he do, or what does he know that he wants forgiveness for? Because also, how are they going to tie that in that conversation? That's when he was healing her, meaning Claire, and she saw Faith, she saw the blue heron, she saw the blue light. So we don't know if that was kind of a nod to anything having to do with Faith, or being set up to continue that storyline or that discussion. But I want to know what he wanted to ask forgiveness for. And maybe we'll get it, and maybe we won't. And I expect that he probably won't have a huge role in season 8. It will probably be very short, like it was in season 7, part 2. We'll see him. He's there for a purpose, and it's a fleeting moment. It happens very quickly, but hopefully it gives us a clear answer as to what is going on. So I think that just about wraps up our season 8 predictions for the show. We'll have to watch and wait and see what will come to fruition, what we might be right about, what we might be wrong about, and what we might be completely blown away about. And we're very excited.
At the end of the day, none of us really know. Even though we've read book 9, we have no idea what direction they're going to take it. So everything Jenny and I are getting ready to spew out as theories could be totally wrong also. So it will be fun to come back and just look at it like that. All right, guys. So Katie and Liz jumped off. Jenny and I are going to start going into our predictions based on book spoilers. It's so funny because this is going to be definitely a longer episode. Hopefully you guys like that. Give us the feedback. Might even be an hour and a half, but we have a lot to say. And I wonder, one of the prevalent thoughts that I was having when I was listening to Katie and Liz is if we spoiled things, even by making that podcast episode, Go Tell the Bees That I Am Gone or Resurrected. And I feel kind of bad, like maybe we leaned into letting them know that Jamie really does die. I just feel like maybe we spoiled some stuff without meaning to.
You know, it's becoming really hard to keep all of your thoughts in check. I know I've said stuff to the two of them, and I don't know whether they've caught it or they just think it's me rambling, and that's fine too. But it's getting incredibly, incredibly hard. So it's not that I'm looking forward to this being over, but I am kind of looking forward to, because I want to talk
freely. It's really hard. I know. So I think that they kind of went through each character. I think for us, we kind of want to talk about genuinely what we think is going to happen and what the ending is going to be, and the big plot points that we think that they're going to be addressing.
Okay.
And I think the biggest one for us to start with, and you guys know we did a whole episode on this, is the King's Mountain of it all, and Frank's book being brought back. So I think from the top, the big things in the trailer was Claire saying, "Is it possible?" The "Hello, Miss Fraser," and her look of absolute shock. So I think, correct me if I'm wrong, we all know the look of shock is she's seeing Roger and Bree and the kids return. Okay?
Absolutely.
So my question with this is, and for anyone who hasn't read the books, we know that when Bree, Roger, and the children are trying to come back from the past to the past, but further in the future to where Jamie and Claire are from Lollybrock, it's very difficult because they can't decide when it's which stone circle they should actually go through, and they're going to make it to America, because if they travel in Scotland and then try to get a boat over to America, it's wartime and it's really difficult. And eventually they make these decisions, they travel over and then they go through Oracoke, but Mandy, they start getting lost in the stones and Mandy has to guide them. And that's kind of the moment that you learn that Mandy is extremely powerful. And I've wondered a lot if they're going to tap into any of that and introduce that, or if it's just going to be they show up at the Ridge and they never give us any of that. So what are your thoughts on that?
I would have to think of how they ended season 7 with them. They just kind of like made a plan, and that they were going to, or, you know, I think we know where we're going to go. And that was like the end of it. I would like to think that they will show some of it, you know, whether it's them getting off the boat and getting right to the stones, but we know how they are with like time constraints. So they wind up cutting so much out, and that's what's going to be the big disappointment. We have talked about how much of the magical element they have left out since the very beginning. And I feel like introducing that suddenly would be from left field. So I am not confident in the writing, and that makes me feel so bad, because
I've said the truth.
I've said to you repeatedly, I feel like I am able to separate the two for the most part. And as we're getting closer to the end, you start to realize how much is left out. It makes me so sad. So, they maybe they'll just cut it down to them arriving and it being an explanation of Mandy was the one who guided us. So it'll be, we won't see it. We'll hear the explanation.
Okay. So with regard, so we're Bree, Roger, the kids. We know at this point in the books, Brianna is pregnant. And that when they travel, she also comes through the stones and she faints and she's having major heart palpitations. And they just later discover that she's got an arrhythmia issue, correct?
AFib, yes.
AFib, yes. And I'm interested to see. And then their son Davy is born, and we learn that he's not able to travel or hear the stones, and ultimately making sure that they're in the past. So I wonder if they're even going to have Brianna pregnant or have the heart condition or anything, if they're even going to address any of that. And I kind of feel like they're not going to. Maybe she's going to have a third child, but it's going to be so vague.
Yeah, that is a lot of information to fit in 10 episodes. I don't know. I probably never really thought that through. Maybe when she arrives, but again, they're going to do a lot of time jumps too. I feel like that's going to be a brunt of the show. And she doesn't have him until the end of Bees-ish, right?
True. Yeah.
So
middle.
I don't know. Yeah. So I don't know how I don't know. Like,
it's
again,
so
once
hard.
you're hooked into the books, you really start to like go back and say, oh, this wasn't good. This wasn't good. So,
so we don't think we're going to get the stick figure drawing or I'll never get over that.
I wish, my wish is that they are able to fit at least that she's pregnant. I can't imagine them not giving the whole Jamie saying, leave the boy with Ian and Rachel. You have to travel back.
True.
Should I die? Like, that's a big part of like before King's Mountain and all that stuff. So I don't know. What do you think? I mean,
okay, so I guess it's hard for me to go by scene for scene or person for person, because I always go back to thinking about how they said if it doesn't directly impact Jamie and Claire, it's not going to make it in. Well, like 90% of Bees doesn't directly impact Jamie and Claire, so what the hell does that mean?
Right.
So I think the three big scenes that we're talking about in the trailer, I think Hello, Mrs. Fraser is either Lord John, likely Captain Cunningham.
Yeah.
And I mean, maybe even, I don't know, maybe even William trying to be. So what we know
maybe
from the
even
books.
Cloudtree. That's my other thought. Is Mrs. Cloudtree.
Okay, so we asked Liz and Claire, who do they think Amaranthus and Captain Cunningham are? Those are characters that are very important. And Amaranthus in particular, for those of you who don't know, is Lord John Grey's brother's daughter. What daughter-in-law? Okay, so
yes.
Oh my gosh, my goodness. So Dottie and Hal, who is Lord John's brother, and Minnie. Oh my gosh, I'm getting all over the place. Okay, Lord John Grey has a brother Hal. Hal is married to Minnie. They have a son Ben. They have a daughter Dottie. They have other kids. They're not relevant. Ben is married to a woman named Amaranthus, and they have a child. Dottie is married to Denzel, who you guys know, Rachel's brother. This part of the story here, Ben, Amaranthus's husband, has faked his own death so that he could be a deserter for the British. And Amaranthus is somehow linked up with William, and she's trying to help him. And William is trying to find Lord John, who has been captured by Captain Richardson, who's a time traveler. So how in the world do you think that they are going to handle that storyline? Because that is a lot of storyline.
My question would be why, like, of the storylines, I think I probably would have found a way to cut that out, to be honest with you, if they're doing time crunch stuff. How I think they're gonna go, I don't think we're gonna see Ben. I think they're gonna treat him as he's dead.
Me
and
too.
I think you know, the whole thing with him and her and William will probably be played out a bit. But look, they could even have him marry her and wrap everything up with a nice
I
neat
think
bow.
this would.
I'll
I
die.
I think they're going to introduce her as William's distant cousin who was married to his cousin. His cousin died, and she's going to assist him. He's going to feel bad for her. He's going to take her under his wing and probably bring her to the ridge. And it's going to be a very watered down version of her. I
Right.
do think William will come to the ridge. Jamie will go with him, and they will rescue Lord John,
Yes.
particularly early in the season to get it out of the way. And
Agreed.
I think they'll make their peace, and maybe Lord John will go off and live at his house up in Canada or somewhere. And that will kind of be the happy ending situation for Lord John. Maybe he will, But I think that a lot of people, especially the romantics who watch Outlander, would love to just see William fall in love with
Right.
Amaranthus, who's been cast by a very beautiful woman. And I
Yeah.
think they're going to severely water down that entire storyline and just make it as Percy betrayed him and Captain Richardson. That's how that's all going to go. And I think we'll also see Percy telling Fergus that he's Amelie and the Comp's son, and then we'll get that resolution like, oh, Fergus is Claire's ancestor. I see that happening as well. So I think we agree on all of that, but I think my biggest problem, and this is something we talk about all the time, is how they are going to handle King's Mountain and Jamie's death. Because, so for a refresher, Bree comes back with the book. Bree reads parts of it, and that's how she's able to find out where they can get weapons and things like that. Claire never reads it, and Jamie reads it, and he finds out that there's going to be a battle up on King's Mountain, and someone named James Fraser is going to pass away. People got big mad at me on the internet that I assumed it was Jamie Fraser, so let's just say we don't know it's James Fraser, but okay, cool. It's Jamie.
Look how
And
silly.
then Jamie goes up on the mountain and he dies. I don't care what anybody, he dies in that moment.
He
They did a
dies.
whole episode
Yeah.
on it. So I've discussed this with Jenny. Claire finds out and she starts running up the mountain. And 3 different soldiers come down and tell Claire that Jamie has died. And you have to assume at that point, those soldiers go down and they tell their captains, their commanding officers, and that's how it gets recorded in history. And I do think
I think that's legitimate. Yeah.
I think they'll explain that in the show as why Frank put it in the book and how he got the history, because I do think they're going to expand on Frank did more history and his role in all of that. Now, this is where Jenny and I hit a wall and get frustrated daily on the phone, is that Claire, and this is so interesting that Katie said, I think that Roger grounds her. I'm like, how does she?
Oh my God.
Where does
When
she get this from? It's crazy. She's
and I
so
don't even
smart.
know that she knew it. I don't even think she understood what came out of her mouth. I think she was just like, and kind of thinking through. But
yeah,
that specific word was unbelievable.
Unbelievable, because
crazy stuff that we're like, how, Katie? How?
How, Katie? How? So the thing is that in that moment, Claire goes up there and she sees that Jamie is very near death. Then things happen. He dies, in my opinion and Jenny's opinion. Up for the internet to debate however they want. This is a book club fictional universe that we are theorizing on. And Claire uses her blue light healing power and basically resurrects him. And Roger touches her and she's using his power. Jenny will touch on why the importance she thinks that Ian is there as well. And then the next day, they stay there for almost a day and Jamie's alive. And Claire opens her mouth and spits, and there's a freaking musket ball that was inside of Jamie's body, inside of Claire's mouth. And you have no idea how it got there. So we started talking about how the fuck are they gonna address this shit? Because it's like, what the fuck? There's never been any magic in the show, which is so infuriating. So how will they address this? And Jenny had a good thought of how she thinks that's gonna go. So why don't you share that?
So even when we go back as far as season 2 with Master Raymond, they made it very clinical what he did. So after she had Faith, the placenta did not completely detach. Now, I have delivered 15 babies in my career. So these are the kind of things, like when you have the placenta, you have to check it. I'm not saying that that's like 100% part of the job of the EMT or paramedic, but it is one of those things you're going to notice. And that's what stuck inside of Claire. So he literally went in and pulled that piece out. And we see in the show that he kind of shakes his hand. Now, that's different from the book. You probably remember more clearly
I do.
that it was more blue light. It was more magical. So I think what they're going to do in the show is Roger will be there. Now, in the book, it's Roger and Ian. And I have a thought on that she's got to have both of their red lights, because I'm assuming that Ian is probably a red aura.
He's got
so
to
in
be.
order to maybe balance Jamie back to life, even though we know that there's going to be a shift, maybe she still needed some of the warrior. I don't know. But so in the show, I do think they're just going to be there very close to her, and it's going to be surgery that no one has ever seen before. And she is going to be able, like, she's going to be digging in there for it, that musket ball. Because I can remember texting with Caitlin about this. I'm like, don't you remember in the book that Claire was like writhing on top of Jamie, and then the musket ball was in her mouth? I'm like, what the hell was happening there?
Was Caitlin like, I don't know what you're talking about. That poor girl. She does not remember beef. I love her so much, but I'm always like, Caitlin, what? She's like, I think I blacked out when I was reading that book. So I agree with you. I think they're going to show it as clinical, but I do think in that moment we're going to get some CGI of Claire's hair actively turning white, fulfilling the prophecy. Because remember, in the books, right after that, she looks in the mirror for the first time and realizes her hair has gone into a full white. And I know in the show it's what's her name, Adaway. I mean, that's very different than the books, but neither here nor there. It's the same prophecy. So I do think that's going to be, we've talked about there's going to be 3 pivotal storylines. It's going to be Lord John being captured, them rescuing him. Then we think that with regards to Fergus and Marcelly, they're going to combine the fire scenes.
Yes, definitely.
So for those of you that don't know, Fergus's print shop will catch fire, and their young son, how we say Henry, and then you guys say it's Henri. Henri, and I'm French. I'm doing a disservice. My grandmother is smacking me right now.
That's right.
Henri Christian passes away. And it's actually really devastating. And I truly believe they're going to have that in. They really are.
I think so too. And if people don't know, there's 2 fires at the print shop. The first one is where Henri Christian dies. And then the second one is when Roger and Bree travel to Savannah. Or they're on their way to travel to Savannah, and they stop at the print shop, and they're all there. And there's another fire that's set by somebody who doesn't like that Fergus runs the print shop. So those 2 things are just going to be combined in one. If you saw the trailer, it's Bree and Roger standing outside. Depending upon where you saw it, you might not see Bree, but they're standing outside like aghast that this has happened. And that's going to be a horror. Yeah, they're going to show it, but it's a big part of the story.
I think that's necessary, and it's why they go back to the Ridge. And I think it's that scene, Katie and Liz were talking about, the scene where you see Rachel and she's really upset, and she's and I think it's because they have found out about what happened to Henri, and Fergus and Marcelly and all of them just came back to the Ridge.
That would make sense. I really couldn't figure it out what that scene was.
It has to be that. I really think that will be it, because we know Rachel and Ian have a healthy child, and there's
maybe it's when she finds out Denny's in prison.
Oh, it could. But again, we don't even know how they're. So again, in
they're not going to have
in the books,
Dottie.
Just so you guys know, Dottie. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So Denzel is in prison, and Dottie goes there, and she's staying with him in the prison, and he's basically he's not a prisoner. He's the trap to be the doctor. Okay, I guess. And she gets pregnant, and their poor their baby dies, and then he ends up deserting and leaving, and they go into hiding, and there's a whole storyline there. I can't see them addressing any of that either. They're just
None
going
of
to
it.
have, I don't know what they're going to do with that.
Because we didn't get a release that there's someone playing Benjamin, right?
Or Dottie.
Definitely not Dottie. I mean, is it possible?
I mean,
I don't know.
but then Amaranthus and Ben, I'm confused why they're introducing Amaranthus but not her husband.
Right.
And how they don't have Dottie. I don't know how. So again, I just think we're going to get King's Mountain. That's going to be the biggest thing. Claire's going to heal him. She's going to come into her full white power. They're going to go back to the Ridge. We're going to get a pan out. I don't know why, but I still keep thinking that the end of the show is going to be Mandy telling their story. And I can almost see her in the room writing, and in that vision that Jamie has of Claire at the desk is actually Mandy. And then I can see Master Raymond coming in as like her guide, and he's helping her, and they leave together or something along those lines. But I think, again, for the show, that's just too magical. And we've talked about Jamie's ghost and how we think that's going to be addressed in the show. And I truly think maybe that will be the ending, that Jamie, they're talking about his visions and his telepathy, and he tells Claire, when I was on the battlefield of Culloden, I had this vision of you, and that's what brought me back to life. And now you brought me back to life again on the mountain. You've always saved me. Like a storyline like that. Could you see something like that making sense?
Well, yeah. So the funny thing is, in book, it has to be book 9. Jamie really, or maybe it's 8, he really does start to tell her more of what happened at Culloden. This isn't something that we get early on in the books. It's just kind of like we're moving forward in our lives, and we're not. So again, as you age, you start to look back on life and you start to like realize things. So it wouldn't be surprising if that's the way it went, that they brought it back into the storyline. I just feel like it's so detached.
It is
for the show. Yeah.
And I think we talked about this when I first saw the trailer, and all of a sudden I said, there's the beehive, and why does it have forget-me-nots on the top? What are they doing? Because
I have a still photo of it right here.
Okay, there you go. I have to retrain my brain to think about the show and like, what are they trying to do? Because it makes no sense. The forget-me-nots are not mentioned to be on the beehive in the book.
Right.
And then are they going to have John Quincy Myers be the one to bring the beehive and tell the blessing that foreshadows Jamie's death on King's Mountain?
Yep.
I mean
that's a big part. Yeah.
It's valid questions that we have. What are the things in the trailer? So you just watched it, okay? We just both watched it. And here's the notes that I made. I was like, okay, obviously I want to make a vocal confirmation that we know the book and the show ending will be vastly different.
Right.
Okay. We know it's only going to be storylines pertaining to Jamie and Claire. We've talked about this. Faith is dead. It's for the shock value.
Right.
King's Mountain is going to be the pivotal moment of the season, which I agree with what you said. The surgery is going to be, she performed this life-changing surgery. She comes into her white hair, blah, blah, blah.
Like, yep.
I think we all agree we're probably going to get a pan out of them on the Ridge, which was, why isn't Jenny there? I just, it infuriates me.
Like, what a huge disappointment. Like, I can't wait for book 10 to find out what happens there, with her life. And I can't remember his name.
The Sashwin.
Yes.
The Sachem. Listen, everybody can just butcher my enunciation. 2 things. I have Invisalign. It gives you a list, but that's the first thing. And the second thing is I'm freaking old, so I can't remember stuff. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, I want to know what happens with the Sachem. I do want to know. Look, we don't even have confirmation because if anyone knows, you can find the kid who played Swift of Lizards. His dad is on TikTok.
Yes.
He hasn't said a word. He's been really good. His kids have all been very busy. I think they were in like Avatar, like one of the latest Avatars.
That's amazing.
I don't know. Yeah. So they're working, but we don't know if they're even coming back.
Because, okay, so for those of you who don't know, And Katie and Liz were just talking about this. Like, they wonder if they're going to get to see Swiftest of Lizards. In the book, his name is Totus. And he does come to live on the ridge, and he has a role to play. And it's very interesting. And it's just, the amount of stuff that gets cut out. And
is crazy.
One thought that I had, and I'm interested to hear what you think about this, is the show started with a voiceover of Claire talking about the vase, and she says, people disappear every day. You know, that whole famous thing.
Yep.
The last several weeks have been leaning in heavily that the show is going to end with a very similar voiceover. And I go back and forth if I think it's going to be Claire or if I think it's going to be Mandy. But I'm starting to really lean into it being Claire, because in the books, I think it will be Mandy. And I don't think the show is going to lean into book lore that they don't know yet.
Right.
So what would Claire say at the end? Will they address the Mobius? I mean, I don't know.
I guess if I had to guess, I think they're going to make this a complete circle in the show. I'm not ruling out a movie, but I gotta be honest with you, as they get further away from it, it's going to be harder to go back to do a movie. So I think they're going to give an ending that we could insert a movie into and leave that open. But I do think we're going to probably hear Claire say people disappear all the time. That's how it's said in the book. It might be in the show. I do. I think it's going to be a complete. So how does that happen? We know that Claire resurrects him. We know that they live out life on the ridge. We know at this point, the ending of book 9 was him and William and getting ready to go look for Lord John. We know from the excerpts, this is what's happening. We haven't gotten a lot, but we've gotten, this is where they're going with it. I don't know how they're going to end it.
So Diana said that 25% of Go Tell the Bees That I Am Gone will be in season 8. 25%. And Matt, the showrunner, has said, if the storyline does not impact Jamie and Claire directly, it is being left out. So when we go through all of this and all of the things that we've discussed, I'm still of the firm belief that the ultimate last 2 episodes, the buildup of everything, is going to be King's Mountain and Claire healing Jamie surgically, like you said. And then we're going to get a pan out on the ridge. And I think a lot of things could be addressed with Jamie's dreams or him telling Claire things.
Right.
I had this vision, because he just told her, I think it was in season 7A, that he had the vision of her in the room when she was writing and there was electric light.
Yep.
And I thought to myself, it's so weird that they're starting to add this now. And I made a video 2 years and I said, I am convinced this is how they are going to address Jamie's ghost in the book. I mean, in the show, I'm so sorry. And you and I've talked about this at great length. We don't put a lot of stock in Jamie's ghost. We don't really care. We think it's something Diana was just, hey, it's the night the spirits come through, and the fandom turned it into a chaotic. And I don't even think she knows how she wants to address it now, because it has to feel bigger than it is. I don't think it's a big thing.
Yeah, it was Samhain. Ghosts come out. It may just be that simple.
Yeah, or Jamie died on the battlefield of Culloden. And
this is where he went to.
He just went there in his mind. We know he has these visions. He can see, he's in the books in particular, he can see Mandy and the kids in the future. And I've talked a lot about this, that he's telepathically connected to all of them. I mean, and Bree has...
I agree with that.
Yeah, and Bree has those powers too. And so I always think about that scene when Bree sees herself driving the Mustang on Fraser's Ridge. And I think to myself, what if that's actually Mandy? And then I thought, what if they took that piece from the book and the ending is Mandy driving Bree's Mustang in the future on Fraser's Ridge, and it's the continuation of, I don't know, that to me would be really special. Because Mandy...
Go ahead, finish.
Mandy, in my mind, is never going to stay in the past. It's not an easy place
Right.
for a woman. Jemmy, he's set up. He comes from an affluent family. He'll find a wife. He'll be fine. But I really think Mandy is going to be the one to carry things on. And maybe in the end, I don't know. There's going to be a scene with Mandy and Master Raymond. I can feel it. I don't know why.
What if at the end, what if they go the route of, because again, we don't know what they're going to do in the show, and it's going to be different than the book. What if he doesn't resurrect him on King's Mountain, and in that moment, he goes right back to the beginning?
It's very possible. I could see that happening. I really could.
I mean, again, I would think that would be lazy.
Well, I mean, look at Blood of My Blood. That was pretty freaking lazy.
Right? And oh my
and Liz
God,
bringing
like
up
so
the Fraser.
much...
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Guys,
no, you're fine.
If you guys ever get on the phone with Jenny and I, half the time I'm like, wait, you got to repeat that because we just talked over each other for 10 minutes. We're like, wait, I'm so excited. I have to get my thought out. But I'm talking about, I just lost my thought, but holy crap, I lost my thought. What was I saying?
Me too. I was saying that maybe if he went back to the beginning, it would be lazy writing. Liz was talking about Blood of My Blood. She mentioned something. I don't remember what it was. Okay.
Liz was talking about the Fraser prophecy. And I thought to myself, there's no way they're bringing that back around because in my mind, they destroyed that in season 3. That's gone. But it would be very interesting if Jamie does actually die on King's Mountain and they go back to Scotland and Claire tries to go through the stones to correct it. It starts
people disappear all the time.
Yeah.
Yep. It's possible. I mean, look, even just simplifying. I mean, they go through the whole montage in the trailer of the beginning. That's in there for a reason.
It's being rewound.
So right. So I don't know how I'm going to feel about this ending as a whole.
We're going to hate it.
Probably. I mean, we have Claire with the forget-me-nots, which you had said before had never been mentioned again since the first season. So why are they suddenly being planted here? In the books, John Quincy brings them. So we don't see him there. Do they just appear with a note? I don't know if he's coming back. I haven't seen the cast release.
I haven't either.
Then what do we have? We have
almost thinking that the forget-me-nots, and I only say this because of watching what they just did in Blood of My Blood, where they just put in all these little odes to book readers and these little Easter eggs, the things about the chicken, or they started talking about this or that. I think that it's something almost, I don't know, I don't want to say trolling us, but trolling us.
Okay.
Putting these things in the trailers to get us talking, to get everyone theorizing. It was the same thing. You will not convince me that date on that building was not purposeful. So it's hard for me because I see these things and I think they're just trolling us because they've never brought up the forget-me-nots. We don't know the significance or who plants them. So then I start wondering, is it just there to troll us, or are they going to do something with them? Are we going to see Mandy planting them? Are we going to see Claire planting them? I do think, like we talked about, and I know we've done lives on this, we've done videos, the rewinding of the trailer let us know they're going to show this as a loop. We have no doubt.
Yes. Yeah. Agreed. I'm trying to think what else is in the trailer here. We've got Roger and Brianna reuniting.
The resurrection,
the fire.
Frank's book.
She's got the beekeeper's hat on. There's Lord John.
Do we think they're going to give us the blessing?
Marcelly.
Like the bee's blessing?
I can't, that's such a big part of it. Like, how do you, maybe she reads it. Maybe John Quincy reads it. And if for those of you not on TikTok, I did a whole deep dive into the religious connotation of is your ceiling coming through as the new bathtub? Boom.
Could you hear that?
No, I didn't. I saw you look and you were like, oh no, oh no. There's a really important thing. There's a blessing that John Quincy and Claire say together, and it predicts, like Doreen said, what's going to happen on King's Mountain. And I believe that John Quincy Myers is the representation of John the Baptist. He lives in the woods and he lives on honey. Not that that's completely John Quincy, but there's similarities
pretty
there.
Close.
And he's also John Quincy Myers delivers the mail to the Ridge. John the Baptist was the messenger. So this is a really important part of it, which goes into my whole thing about what we talked about in Go Tell the Bees I Am Gone or Resurrected. So these are big points that if they get left out, look, the good thing is we have the book.
Yeah. I mean, in my mind, I think that at the end of the day, I'm going into this with no expectations because I just watched what they did with Blood of My Blood. And I realized they're just, that's it. It's over. It's done.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I've always said I can feel the change from season 5 when they switched showrunners. It is so apparent to me. And I get annoyed when people are, oh, I read the books, I'm better. And oh, if you didn't read the books, you're not a real fan. I never want to be that kind of person. But it's really hard when me in particular, for 20 years, you have been reading these books and someone just butchers it to the point of, oh, we're doing this for views and shock value. And I get that you have to do that for a show, but I have had to mentally prepare myself that this is going to be a shit show and that it's not the real ending. I truly think it's going to be the 3 pivotal things. We're going to have Lord John. So William, it's going to be about William and Jamie building a relationship and restoring that in their journey to collect and save John, and then all of them repairing that relationship. That's going to be one pivotal conclusion. We're going to have the tragedies of Marcelly and all of them, but them getting back to the Ridge. That's the conclusion. We've got Rachel and Ian and their child, they get back to the Ridge. We got Bree, Roger, all the kids, they travel, they have their own things. You know, obviously we know that Bree's going to go to do the drawing and they're going to get caught up in that war. And we see all that's going to happen, but they're going to get back to the Ridge and they're going to be saved. Jamie's going to go up on the mountain. He's going to die. He's going to be resurrected. He's going to come down. He's going to be back on the Ridge. And I think that's kind of the ending they're leaning into, is they all made it back to the Ridge.
Right. And look, to be honest with you, I'd rather that ending at this point.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's what we're going to get. Like, I do think that they're going to throw it, like, again, the fire is devastating. The war is devastating. Jamie dying and coming back is devastating. Like, I do think they're going to lean into a lot of that. And
me too.
I think show watchers would rather just see that picture of everybody living happily ever after. Lord John's in his own little cabin. We've got William in his own little cabin, and everybody's repaired. But I don't think that's going to happen. My other thought was Amy Higgins. Like, that's going to be completely left out.
Of course. There's no way they're going to... Well, I could just show them seeing her, like, you know, for no reason, because we want to show something crazy. We're going to show Amy Higgins getting mauled to death by a bear. I don't want to...
have the woman with the 3 daughters.
The Hartmans?
The Hartmans, yes.
Yeah.
And they marry... Doesn't she marry Higgins' husband?
Yeah, but the Hardmans haven't been introduced at all, and they would have already had to have been, because they have a big part to play with, like, the native storyline as well.
Because they didn't even put that in season 7.
No, they're so far past that already. So one thing I will say, I will the representation of this bird that has all of a sudden been introduced. So we first saw it when Master Raymond is healing Claire. I guess that was their way to show he's spiritually healing her, like blue light, whatever the fuck. Then whenever we saw that with Jane, when she looked out at the sky, I'm like,
why are we doing
what
this?
is happening here? Why are we doing this? And then in the dream sequence when Raymond visits Claire, I was about to lose my mind. And if they show that when Claire is healing Jamie on King's Mountain,
it's possible.
I will lose my mind, because It's almost insulting to the intelligence of viewers that you don't think people are capable of understanding the actual storyline, and you feel like you have to feed them this over-exaggerated visual effect.
And here's the thing, a little off topic, but I see them matching up, and I know a lot of the folks on TikTok do as well. Stranger Things right now is coming to its finale, and there's a whole, when I tell you, once you start watching it, you're going to be picking up things left and right. Like, people want that type of a show. People want, like, this is, we're steering away from like regular TV, like Friday nights and your comedy on Friday night. People want a show that's at minimum 5 seasons, and they want to be able to figure it out. They want to look behind the actors. They want to find the things that they're supposed to find. They want to build the story in their head. And I feel like it's not there anymore with Outlander.
It's not.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I've watched everything but the latest season of Stranger Things because I told you I want to watch it all at once.
Yes.
There's a lot of parallels there, even with the Montauk 5 in the Montauk group. And I think it would be interesting for us to maybe do an episode where we talk about Stranger Things and Outlander. Nobody steal our idea. I will come for you. I will come for you. I'm sick of my ideas being stolen.
Yeah, it really would be interesting. Yeah, there's, and the amount of stuff that's in there that really is parallel to what's happening with Outlander is interesting. I can't wait for the next 2 drops. The one is on Christmas Day, and I think the season finale is like 3 hours long. Like, that's the kind of ending we wanted for Outlander. We wanted a 3-hour. People want to, since we don't really go to the movies anymore, or we want to be engrossed in these shows, and I think they're missing the mark.
Life's hard. We want to escape.
Exactly.
So I don't know. I think that Liz and Katie were talking about the I can't remember how she worded it, but she was talking about the scene with, when I asked them who they thought Captain Cunningham was, and they were talking about Benedict Arnold
Jamie's
and like
friend.
being a tornado. Yeah, Jamie's friend.
For Jamie.
Like, she's not wrong.
Right.
But it made me wonder if they're going to talk about, because again, they haven't really tapped into Roger's voice, and he comes into the church and he does that sermon, and it's really impactful for Roger, and he's trying to figure out his place. So I started wondering, what are they going to do with that character?
Right. I mean, that's a big, again, the 3 different churches in the meeting house is a big part of the Ridge. And look, they even really did a bad job with, that's Boomy.
Hi, Boomy.
They did a bad job with Roger because his voice hasn't changed at all.
I know.
And in the books, it absolutely, there is devastating effects to his voice.
Boomy, get some headphones and join in, baby. Get some headphones and join in.
My God, this dog.
He's got thoughts. He wants to share them.
He does. Do you want to sing for Roger? Yes. So yeah, like, they, even when you listen to it on audio, Davina Porter, the narrator, she actually speaks with a gravelly voice, and that's what you're supposed to hear with Roger. And
that
that's
impact.
Yeah, and you don't get that in the show. Why didn't they do that?
I don't know. I really don't know. And because again, that would have been such, I was convinced that McEwen was going to be introduced at that time because they would show him as Raymond. I don't think McEwen is Master Raymond, but I am interested when so Liz and Katie were talking about that they wanted resolution with Buck. I think all of us do.
Yes.
I'm very interested if Master Raymond's return is actually going to have something to do with Buck.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
If they show him taking him somewhere. I don't know. I mean, because again, they don't have much time. They only have 10 episodes. They're probably just going to leave it that Buck is, we left him behind. We don't know what happened to him. Okay, cool. Thanks.
Right. Awesome. Like, I need storylines tied up for everybody. And again, thank God we have the books, because I do think for the most part we'll get them.
That's the real ending. That is the real ending.
Yeah.
And then the last thing is, I thought it was interesting. I think everyone who watches Outlander, and Liz was talking about the soul bond between Jamie and Claire.
Right.
I think everybody obviously feels that. I've always believed, and I've done a ton of conversation and videos on quantum entanglement. And I wonder, the reason why I bring this up is because in theory, in quantum entanglement, it's two particles that are separated by centuries, by galaxies. It doesn't matter, but they're always drawn to each other and they can feel each other no matter how far they are apart. And I've always thought that could tie into the fact that when Claire, I know everyone thinks, oh, when Claire initially traveled, she was thinking about Blackjack Randall. I don't buy into that for a second. I've always thought she's being pulled towards Jamie because there are two particles that want to be back together. And I do wonder if, obviously, I don't think they're going to start talking about quantum physics in the show, but I do wonder if they're going to address it in some sort of way with the loop of, well, now I know why I was brought to you. It was always meant to happen. We're going to live this life over and over, or something along those lines.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I absolutely see that. Do you think that Mandy and Jem have a form of quantum entanglement due to their powers?
Sure. Definitely.
You know, and I guess
Bree
that goes
and
for
Jamie do as well. I think it's more than, I think Jamie has it with several people. I don't think quantum entanglement is about love. I just
That's
think
what
it's
I was
about,
just trying to clarify. Yeah.
No, I think it's about connection, telepathy, energy, and predestination, honestly. But I don't think the show's going to tap into any of that. But I am interested to see if maybe they will tap into, this was always what was meant to happen, and it's going to happen over and over again. Not a continuous loop, but maybe and you talk about this all the time, the upside down in Stranger Things.
Right.
Then the Mobius is them jumping in between. And I've talked about Everything Everywhere All at Once, how there's versions of us everywhere. I just don't know how deep the show will go, because these are people that just expected all of us to believe nobody remembered Claire and Henry Beecham, or Julia and Henry Beecham, when they meet Claire Beecham 20 years later. So I don't really know how to wrap my mind around what they could possibly be doing.
Like, I have seen some people think Henry, they really thought that voice of Mrs. Fraser, or whatever they say, they thought that was Henry showing up on, I'll be honest with you.
I will bash my head into a wall.
That would be the end of it for me. Like,
me too. I would turn out.
I love every actor. I love every actress. Like, all of the storylines to me so far, I can separate it. I can enjoy it. But if that happens, that would really destroy the entire thing for me. Yeah, I think that was really lazy just to build. And look, we were already all excited for that show. You didn't need to get us, like a connection. We were going to watch it anyway, and we would have hyped it up as we did. So, I think that was a bad idea.
So I guess at the end of the day, we think it's gonna suck.
Just,
we're hoping for the best.
Hope for the best. Yeah, exactly. Like, and do yourself a favor, try to separate the two. If you do both mediums, like, try to enjoy it for what it is. It is a bigger version of a Hallmark show.
There you go.
And let's hope we get this, this happy ending. Do you think they will end with the death of the characters? I guess that's probably one question I think everybody has.
No.
Okay. I don't know.
I hope they don't, because Diana hasn't given us that.
Open-ended. Right. I would like it open-ended. I would like to see Jamie and Claire and
if we
find peace.
I just had
What's the matter?
I just had a thought. So help me God, if they 1923 us and give me a freaking Titanic ending, I will lose my ever-loving mind.
They really could go that route.
Oh my God, all of a sudden now I think that's what they're going to do. It's going to be them in the space between, the afterworld. Oh my gosh, we're here together. No, fuck you. Oh my God, they're going to 1923
What do you
us.
mean? What just came to, like, give me the picture of what just came to mind.
The picture just came to mind of how we get the pan out of Spencer walking to Alex's grave.
Mhm.
There's a voiceover of some. I know I'm going to start crying. It's too soon. There's a voiceover of someone saying he lived a long, full life, but at the end of the day, he went to go be with his love. And then we see them dancing on the ship,
But
which
we
was their
did talk
happiest
about
place.
this.
But what if the
So
happy place is Claire in the window? They're dead and they're the boy got. I don't
wait a
want
minute.
this.
You just said he lived a life alone, and that is what I said about the three things of martyrdom. That
Yeah.
Claire would die first, and he would live this life of solitude
Okay.
until he died.
And I see, here we are. We're always pulling shit, putting
See,
it together.
this
is
is
the
like
magic,
a regular
people.
phone call.
But it goes back to about a year ago. I said, I cannot escape the fact that I think the show is going to end with Claire dying. So maybe, let's just say, they go up on King's Mountain and Claire saves Jamie, but she dies. She exhausts all her powers. And that it would be the only reason it ends in Scotland is because Jamie goes back and buries her at the stones and plants the forget-me-nots. And he sits there and lives a life alone, waiting for her to travel through again.
200 years again. Look, I don't think that's. I don't.
I would hate
here's
it.
the thing. We have supporting evidence for that. Like with everything that we have pulled apart in this book or in the show, it could end like that.
Who's going to give us a doctorate for all the work we have done in the books? I think that's what I'm going to ask Diana in her interview is, how do I go about getting a doctorate in Outlander? I would like to know.
Here's what I would love to know. I would love to know if she has listened to any of this. And look, I don't think she has. I could be wrong, but
I'm going to ask her, do you ever watch social media or listen to podcasts about Outlander? Ever? I could ask her.
Like, I want to know what she thinks of where we are with all of these.
Oh, we're asking her. Don't worry. We're asking her. That question is coming up. The questions have been sent in and that is on there. So.
Oh, I can't wait. And you haven't heard back yet?
Not yet. So, okay, we are at officially an hour and 40 minutes. So you guys were testing your patience today to see if you're going to listen. We hope if you guys want longer, we have gotten consistent comments of people saying we want longer episodes. So we're trying it out. Give us feedback. Let us know. Couple things. House cleaning stuff right here. We are going to be planning an overhaul for the first of the year. We're excited to show those changes and get into those changes. We're not announcing them yet. Second thing is we're putting all of our videos and all of our content on YouTube, and we're really trying to heavily focus on getting subscribers. So if you guys can follow us on YouTube, it's Outlander Unhinged, and follow our TikTok page as well, and then follow and if you go to our TikTok or our YouTube, you can find all of our other social medias. So we are really trying hard to get feedback on what you guys want to hear, what you guys want to see. So please talk to us. We read the comments, we share them. We get so excited when people say, we love the podcast. We put it in the group chat. We're all so excited. We feel like imposters. So
where'd you go? There you are.
It said low battery. It's telling me I have to get off. So is there anything else you want to add, or we just want to wrap it up?
No, I think that's good. I think I hope everybody enjoyed it today. We were all over the place, but this is like a regular phone call. So if you ever want to know what Doreen and I sound like, this is exactly it. So we just happened to film it.
That's right. So, okay, well, Katie and Liz aren't here to say their little exits, but I will say until next time, stay Outlander unhinged.